Right now, without your awareness, without your permission, a part of your mind is making decisions for you. It is determining what you believe is possible. It is shaping how you respond to people. It is setting the invisible ceiling on everything you think you can achieve. And the most unsettling part? You did not choose any of these programs. Someone else wrote them, long before you were old enough to question them. Joseph Murphy was an Irish-born minister, philosopher, and author. His 1963 book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, has sold over 10 million copies worldwide. He spent 60 years studying one question: why do some people effortlessly create the life they want, while others struggle no matter how hard they try? His answer changed everything. Murphy's central insight was this: you do not have one mind, you have two. The first is your conscious mind, the part you are aware of right now. It reads, it analyzes, it sets goals, it makes plans. It is where your wishes and desires live. The second is your subconscious mind, and this is where your life is actually being run. Murphy described the subconscious as a garden, and the conscious mind as the gardener. Whatever seeds the gardener plants in the garden, whether flowers or weeds, the garden grows them without question. The subconscious does not reason. It does not judge. It does not argue with what is given. It simply accepts, and then organizes your entire life to match what it has accepted. This is why two people can have identical circumstances, identical opportunities, identical intelligence, and produce completely different results. They are not operating from the same subconscious program. Murphy summarized this idea as a kind of mental law, that whatever impression takes hold in the subconscious tends to express itself in your outer experience. Here is what makes this even more significant. Most of your subconscious programming was not written by you. Research in developmental psychology tells us that between birth and the age of 7, the brain operates primarily in a theta brainwave state. Theta is the same state as hypnosis. In this state, the child's mind is wide open. It is not analyzing, it is not filtering, it is not questioning, it is simply absorbing. Everything it sees, everything it hears, every repeated message from the people around it goes directly into the subconscious as truth. You are not good enough. Money is hard to come by. You have to struggle for everything. Life is not safe. Nobody said these things directly. Nobody needed to. You watched, you absorbed, you accepted. And those early impressions became the invisible operating system that has been running your life ever since. Murphy had a remarkable personal example of this. In the 1940s, he faced a serious personal health challenge that he himself felt was extremely concerning. Rather than simply accept the worst as inevitable, Murphy applied his own techniques. He used prayer, visualization, and deliberate subconscious reprogramming every night before sleep. He later described making a full recovery. Whether you attribute that to neuroscience, placebo, or something deeper, the principle he demonstrated is worth examining. What you consistently impress upon the subconscious becomes the blueprint your body and your life tend to follow. Murphy was writing in 1963, but what he described has since been explored by neuroscience. Research by Harvard psychologist Timothy Wilson, documented in his book Strangers to Ourselves, estimates that a very large share of our thoughts, feelings, and memories operate below conscious awareness. In practical terms, This means that for every decision you think you are consciously making, your subconscious has likely already shaped the options you even consider. Research by psychologist John Barge at Yale, explored through decades of work, suggests that a great deal of human behavior is driven by automatic, unconscious processes running in the background without deliberate input from you. And here is a finding that connects directly to Murphy's work. Hebbian learning tells us that neurons that fire together tend to wire together. Every time you repeat a thought with emotional intensity, you are not just thinking it, you are gradually reshaping your neural pathways. Murphy called this the law of belief. Modern neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity. In many ways, they are pointing at the same phenomenon. So how do you actually work with this? Murphy's writing offered his readers specific techniques, not abstract philosophy. Here are 3 of the most well-known ideas from his work, described in his own words. The first method is often called a sleep method. Just before you fall asleep each night, the brain transitions from the beta side of waking consciousness toward theta. This is similar to the receptive state the child's brain was in during those first 7 years. In theta, the analytical conscious mind steps back. The subconscious becomes more directly accessible. Murphy encouraged readers to use this window deliberately. In the last few minutes before sleep, bring to mind the outcome you desire, not as something you are hoping for, but as something that has already happened. Feel it, see it, sense it as real, and then let yourself drift into sleep from within that feeling. Try not to analyze whether it is working. Try not to question the process. The idea is that the subconscious responds less to logic and more to emotion and repetition. The second idea is sometimes called a mental movie technique. This involves constructing a vivid mental scene of your desired outcome, as if already achieved. Not a vague wish, a specific scene. Where are you? Who is with you? What can you see, hear, feel? Replaying this mental scene repeatedly, especially in a relaxed state, with genuine emotional engagement. The idea is that the subconscious may not strongly distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a remembered one. The third idea is sometimes called a passing over technique. This is perhaps the most subtle, and in Murphy's view, one of the most powerful. Murphy described the conscious mind and subconscious mind as often being in conflict. The conscious mind says, "I want to be confident." The subconscious mind holds on to evidence that says otherwise. Murphy suggested that force and willpower alone do not resolve this conflict. In fact, he felt that effort and strain could sometimes reinforce the resistance. Instead, he encouraged a gentler approach. Enter a relaxed state. Release the sense of striving, and gently, without force, allow a simple feeling of the desired state to settle in. Not a statement, not an argument, just a feeling, repeated consistently, without attachment to outcome. Murphy's writing leaves readers with an idea that lingers. In essence, he suggested that you hold more influence over your inner world than you may realize, through the thoughts and feelings you choose to dwell on. Not because life is fair, not because circumstances are easy, but because one of the most significant forces shaping your experience may not be outside you. It may never have been. The garden is ready. The only question is, what are you planting?